You see this pink sparkly background? You know what time it is. It's time for another Ask LadySpeech video. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, LadySpeech in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world. And you're also sharing some time and space with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. If you happen to like what I'm doing, if you happen to like what you see, if you feel this, and if you feel me, make sure you do your just duty and you hit the like button. Because I need to know you like it. I need to know you love it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you can get more of it. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can be notified when I'm doing things for your baby. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? All right, y'all. Today's question comes from my TikTok, shameless plug. If you are looking for quality content to follow on TikTok, I invite you to follow me. I am LadySpeech Sankofa on TikTok, so you feel free to give me a follow, baby, because we get rowdy over there. We get rowdy over there. We get rowdy over there. Also, there is a feature on TikTok that allows people to ask me questions directly, like in my little question inbox, and I end up answering a lot more questions on TikTok. Granted, it's only 60 seconds or 3 minutes, but I end up getting a lot more questions answered on that platform. So if you're looking for more in-depth questions, you know, or you might have a question that I might have answered or covered before, go ahead and check my TikTok. I am slowly trying to get my playlist organized on there to make it easier to find specific questions that people have asked me about. So again, follow me on TikTok if you want to, baby. Also, that link is going to be in my link tree, and my link tree will be located in the description box below, as well as all of my payment information is there, and links to my latest projects will be in my link tree as well. So that's that on that, baby. That's that on link tree. That's that on TikTok. Now let's get into this question. The question is, if you're legally adopted by a parent, would you still look into the adopted side of family for ancestor work? Okay, so today we coming in hot. We are answering another ancestor question. This is a question that I've gotten quite often, so this is why I chose to answer this on YouTube in a longer format. I did answer this on my TikTok in a 3-minute video, but I wanted to take a little bit more time with this video, and I wanted to have something longer that I can just leave on this channel as a point of reference. I'm gonna read this question one more time, and then we're gonna dig off into my answer. So again, the question is, if you're legally adopted by a parent, would you still look into the adopted side of the family for ancestor work? So we're going to get deep into ancestor work today. And today I'm going to speak from the adopted, the legally adopted perspective, and the not legally adopted perspective. Just the people who've been taken on as chosen family, that it wasn't legally done, okay? So yeah, let's get all the way into it. In regards to doing ancestor work with adoptive family and chosen family, yes, you absolutely can do your ancestor work, your ancestor veneration, your ancestor healing with your adoptive family and or your chosen family, okay? Now, let's go over a few things before I get deeper into this. What do I mean by chosen family? All right, there are people in my life that I have taken on and I review, I regard, I treat as family, and they review, they regard, they treat me as family. We are not related by blood. These are people that we choose to be in each other's life. We've created bonds that are so deep that it is family, okay? So this can be not legal adoptions. This can look like not legal adoptions. This can look like bonds that were formed out when you became an adult, so there was no need to legally adopt someone. This could be people who you regard as your sisters, your siblings, your brothers, people as you regard as mothers, fathers, mother figures in your life, father figures in your life, people who have taken on a grandparent role in your life, or you've become a grand niece, a grand nephew, a grandson, a granddaughter, a grand person in someone's life. So when I say chosen family, it is people who are not related to you by blood, but those bonds have been formed so deeply you regard each other and you treat each other as blood, okay? I'm also speaking to legally adopted family, so people who have been legally adopted and people who have been illegally adopted, or you've just been caretaking. I don't mean illegally adopted in the way of like being kidnapped, okay? I don't mean that. I do not mean that. But say someone signed over their someone is a legal guardian, and there's situations where people have never been officially adopted, but they took up the place of someone's legal guardian for years, and they basically raised them and took care of them, took care of all their needs, for they were the parent for all intents and purposes, but they're not legally bound. There was not a legal adoption that took place there, okay? Or people who, there's been many situations where people just rose to the occasion, where there wasn't a legal adoption, but grandma took this baby on, you know, auntie took this baby on, cousin took this baby on, the lady down the street had some room and took this baby on. So I am speaking to good, and I also want to clarify that I'm speaking to the good relationships, okay? The ones that there are those bounds and those bonds, not bounds, but those bonds made that did bind people together, okay? So in regards to doing your ancestor work in that situation, yes, you can do ancestor work with that type of situation, but here's the thing. Say I was adopted into a family, and you know, it was a good thing. The parents were good to me, I was good to them, you know, it was a good situation, and they are my family, okay? Their ancestors may take you on as part of their family, okay? Now, not all of their ancestors may take you on, okay? It's really important to think about in regards to ancestry. A lot of times we only think about ancestors in regards to like immediate ancestors. So our mothers, our fathers, our great-grandmothers, our great-grandfathers, our grandmothers who have died, passed on, our siblings who've died, passed on, people who are in our immediate family. We don't consider the fact that our lineages, some of us come from lineages that are hundreds of years long. Some of us are coming from lineages that are thousands of years long. Some of us have a long line in back of us, okay? No matter how long or short your lineage is, it took a lot of people to make up who you are, okay? It took a whole lot of people. It took hundreds upon hundreds of people to make you who you are. When we deal with our ancestors, adopted or not, it's important to know this and realize this. When you call on your ancestors, when I teach ancestor veneration, and a lot of priests and priestesses who ancestor veneration and ancestor worship is a part of our practice, we always are very clear about telling people to call on your benevolent ancestors, the ancestors that mean you no harm, the ancestors that want to see you succeed. In our ancestry and what makes us up, understand that there are really beautiful, amazing people who are part of your lineage, and there are people who are not so great that's a part of your lineage, okay? And so when you're doing ancestor veneration, ancestor work, you want to make sure you're calling on the ancestors that like you, that love you, that want to uplift you, that want to cherish you, that see you, okay? So I say that to say, even in non-adoptive families, there are going to be some ancestors who do not mess with you. There are going to be some ancestors who do not mess with you, and that's just it, okay? So the same thing in adoptive families. There's going to be some people in that adoptive lineage that do not connect with you, that do not mess with you, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. However, there are going to be some of those ancestors who do mess with you, who do want to work with you, who will come to your ancestor altar, who will answer your call, who do work on behalf of you. Also, it's important to understand that when we work with ancestors, yes, your immediate ancestors are going to be the ones that are on your team, the ones that are related to you by blood. However, we form bonds with, and we form as humans a lot of different types of bonds, and we end up getting close in a lot of different ways. So sometimes your ancestor team is not just made up of people who are related to you by blood. There are people who we take on in our life who are irreplaceable. They become integral aspects of our circles. And when we pass on, they become a part of our ancestral chosen family. For instance, I have representations of a really good friend of mine who passed away about 6 to 7 years ago. I know that she is not being honored in her blood family with ancestral practices, but I honor her and I keep her on my altar. She was a sister to me in a very particular time in my life. She was family to me at some point in time, and I was family to her. So she lives on my altar. She lives on my, she's also represented on my ancestor altar. We are not born of the same mothers. We are not born of the same fathers. We are both black. She is also black and Hawaiian. And so I keep her on my altar, and she's happy with the veneration I give to her. I can hear her now. I actually need to buy her some cigarettes. I got you. But I honor her, and she's happy to be here, and she's happy to be honored by me. She still does connect with her family and she does her ancestral thing on the other side with her blood family as well. But that is also one example of like chosen family, you know, of the chosen family, the people we take on. Okay, so yes, you can work with your adopted family ancestors, your legally adopted ancestors, your illegally adopted ancestors, your caretaker. You can take on those ancestors. They can and will work with you, and you can and will work with them, okay? Now, here's the thing. Whether or not you know your ancestors, and there's a lot of us in that position, because there's a lot of black people due to the diaspora, due to the transatlantic slave trade, because of white supremacy and colonialism. There's a lot of black people, there's a lot of indigenous people who have been ripped from our roots, and we have no idea up to a certain point who we are, okay? It's important, whether you're adopted or not, whether you're coming from this black or indigenous situation that colonization has taken you from your roots. No matter what it is, whether or not, no matter why you are disconnected, maybe you got kicked out of your family and you no longer have access to that information and to people who have that information, no matter why you've been ripped away from your roots, no matter why the reason you don't know, I want to let you know, and I want to root you in the information that your people are still connected to you. They love you. Whether or not you know your ancestors know you. They work with you, they protect you, they guide you every day, whether or not you know who they are, where they come from. So know this: if you come from that, we're focusing in on adopted situation. If you are adopted, you have that set of ancestors that have come from your adoptive family that you can work with, and you also have your own set of ancestors that are working with you. So whether you get to know them or not, some of you are going to embark on a journey with your self-discovery, your spirituality, and your ancestry, where you are going to be able to reconnect the dots. Some of you have the privilege via technology and the resources to figure these things out. Some of you are black and can figure this out. Some of you are indigenous and can figure this out. Some of you are white, you can figure this out. Some of you are brown and you can figure this out. And there's going to be a lot of us who cannot. Know that you can still work with those ancestors even if you don't know them. Even if you aren't familiar with them, they will work with you. You can still connect with them, and you can still experience really good love from them. So the adoptive side of you, even your birth ancestors, you can connect with them whether or not you know them or not, whether or not you feel like you're connected to them or not. From their end, they're always connected to you. They're always looking out for you. And just like your adoptive ancestors, all of your ancestors are working for your highest good. Well, I should say the benevolent ones, because there are some not so good eggs out there. Remember, my loves, just because we have been given up willingly or unwillingly, just because we've been abandoned willingly or unwillingly, just because we have been cut off from our end, from our ancestral legacy and lineage, does not mean that they are cut off from us. It does not mean that we don't have access to their love, to their knowledge, to their wisdom, to their greatness, to their genius, and to their not so greatness. We might be cut off for whatever reason from our end, but know that they are never cut off from us, and they are waiting for us to reach out to them. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the transatlantic slave trade. And I'm also going to reference the genocide of the First Nations people and Native Indigenous people of this land, which is America. That's where I'm at, the United States of America. Both of these were atrocious happenings in history, where the most disgusting of things went down. We think about the atrocities of the Holocaust and how deeply disturbing that was. And you must know that the murder and the extermination of 100 million First Nations people on this land, and the distribution, the stealing, and the treatment like commodity and chattel of African people, not only in America, but across the diaspora, was horrendous and horrific. Part of the reasons why the descendants that are still present, the Native Indigenous First Nations people, the Black people who are descended from these people, the reason why those of us are here is because of the presence of village communities and adoptive families. Let's get into the enslavement of Black people in America. Many times when women were made to bear children, because that was part of your duty, you had to produce more product, more chattel. Oftentimes those children would be taken away from their mothers. Now, sometimes this would happen in infancy. Sometimes this would happen, the mothers might be they might be allowed to raise their children to a certain age, but at some point your child was taken away because you and that child was considered property. Many times those children were given to other enslaved people to raise and to train for certain jobs. We were able to form bonds with people that we were not biologically related to, but became our family. They became our saving grace. The reason why we were able to survive such atrociousness was because we were able to form these bonds with each other. Our ancestors became even more intertwined, even more interlinked because of this. The ancestors of your chosen family walk with you. The ancestors of your adopted family walk with you. Your biological ancestors walk with you. When we think about everything that Native Indigenous First Nations people have gone through on this land, being ripped from their indigenous native lands, being exterminated in many different ways. There were times when babies were separated from mothers and it was a random other indigenous woman who saw a child in need and took on this child as their own. Colonialism has devastated Indigenous, Native, and First Nations communities across the globe for thousands of years, for hundreds of years. The descendants and the survivors of these atrocities are only alive because we took each other in. We became family again. When our families were ripped away, we formed new bonds and new families, and we insulated ourselves as much as we could inside of that. There is a Bible verse. I think it's in the book of Ruth. And she says, "And your family will be my family, and my family will be yours." Thinking about and speaking of what my ancestors have gone through has brought them here. They're always with me. And in this moment, I am in deep awe and appreciation. I will never not respect what my ancestors went through and the pain of being taken, having your children ripped from you. And the extraordinary love when we took on each other's children, knowing the story. When you were given a baby to raise, you understood that that child was taken from someone who might have wanted that baby. And you understood that it was your duty to love that child like your own. When we bond to that degree, your people become my people, and my people become yours. So yes, you can work with your adoptive ancestors. You can work with your chosen family ancestors. There is a long history and herstory of us doing this. You are allowed to venerate your ancestors, and your ancestors are more than just your grandmother, your grandfather, your immediate family. Your ancestral lineage is long and is made up of a lot of people, and you are allowed to work with all of your team. And that's that on ancestors, and that's that on hoodoo, conjure, and magic. And that's that on ancestor veneration. I hope this answer was beneficial to anybody who needs it. I hope this answered some questions for you. I'm never gonna apologize for getting emotional when it comes to my ancestors. I have the deepest respect and love for the people that I come from. I stand on the shoulders of greatness. I stand on the shoulders of greatness. My lineage is hundreds of years old, and before slavery, before enslavement, my ancestors were complex, beautiful people, great people as well. I also honor all of my ancestors who survived, who didn't survive, who endured enslavement to get me here. My life as a gender fluid, pansexual, black femme on this planet is met with a lot of hardships due to anti-blackness, global anti-blackness, due to global misogynoir. And I have it far easier than what some of my ancestors have gone through in recent history. So I do not consider my enslaved ancestors a blip in my history. They are some of the strongest people who've ever walked the planet. To be able to make it through that and produce me, my God, my goddess, my goodness. So I am oftentimes overwhelmed when I speak to the history of my people, but I'm overwhelmed because what happened is so sad and so destructive and not right, and how we survived and how we are here still is absolutely magical. The random dings. I love doing these videos. It's been a minute since I came at you with one of these. I'm going to continue to do this. I got a lot of questions coming at me these days. When I started this segment, I didn't have a lot of questions coming through. Now I have a lot of questions coming through. So I'm gonna try to do these videos a lot more and answer all the questions for you. Feel free to go to my TikTok. Like I said, LadySpeech Sankofa, shameless plug. I end up answering a lot more questions over there. It is a shorter format, but I can get a lot more questions answered on there. So this was labor. So if you benefit from this labor, my Cash App is LadySpeech. My Venmo is LadySpeech Sankofa, and my PayPal is LadySpeechSankofa@gmail.com. So always feel free to show your financial appreciation for this labor. And below in the description box, you will find my link tree so you can connect with me. You don't need to even remember where my TikTok is. It's in my link tree. You can connect with me in other platforms, and also all of my payment information is there, as well as links to my current projects and the things that I've got going on. All right, I've got some special announcements I'm going to be rolling out in the next couple months, so I'm excited for this fall, and I look forward to the next video. So if no one, just in case no one has told you today, you are beautiful, you are divine, you are amazing, and so very necessary to this planet. Keep surviving, baby. keep thriving. And on that note, you have a good morning, a good day, a good evening, a good afternoon, a good mid-morning, a good mid-evening, a good middle of the night, whenever you are encountering this video. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.